What happens when the laughter fades, but the legacy lingers? In the 1970s, All in the Family didn't just reflect the times, it confronted them.
Gloria, if I thought for 1 second that that boy was my son...
With blunt honesty, razor-sharp wit, and unforgettable characters, it broke barriers and redefined American television.
You've just finished All in the Family. The whole country
Yes.
knew who you were.
Now nobody knows.
But behind the groundbreaking scripts and Emmy-winning performances, time was quietly ticking. They shared the screen as a family. But over the years, we lost many of them. Some quietly, others with headlines.
Legendary movie maker Rob Reiner and his wife murdered, their son in custody.
This is All in the Family cast members who died. For a generation, he was the face of youthful idealism, the meathead arguing across the dinner table in a Queens living room that felt like our own.
Gloria, if I thought for 1 second that that boy was my son... That's Marilyn Sanders.
But the story of Rob Reiner didn't end in that armchair. It grew into something much larger, a second act that shaped the movies we quote and the stories we tell our children. Then, just as quietly as he'd shifted from actor to auteur, the story took a final, incomprehensible turn. On December 14th, 2025, the man who directed The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally was found dead at 78. It wasn't a peaceful passing. The scene was his own Brentwood home, a place of creative comfort, now a crime scene. Alongside him was his wife of over 3 decades, Michelle Singer. The Los Angeles Police Department was blunt, classifying the deaths as homicides. Days later, the unthinkable, their own son Nick, was taken into custody, booked for murder.
They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder.
The news sent a shockwave not of Hollywood gossip, but of genuine, painful confusion. This was the man who captured the ache of boyhood friendship in Stand By Me. The director who understood that the perfect punchline was just another form of love. He had moved from the front of the camera to the director's chair with a grace that few ever manage, creating a filmography that became the cultural wallpaper of a generation. He was, for all his fame, a storyteller who felt like one of us. The final chapter of his life, a story of domestic tragedy, is a jarring, brutal postscript to a legacy of warmth and wit. It's a story that doesn't fit, a puzzle with missing pieces, leaving us to reconcile the man who made us laugh with a silence we may never understand. Some actors disappear into a role. Carroll O'Connor became a role, and the role became a mirror for a changing America. For nearly a decade, his face was the face of Archie Bunker, a man whose ignorance was matched only by his humanity. We tuned in every week to watch him rage against the future from the worn comfort of his armchair.
And I'm going to torture myself until you cry. Or until I see that chair back where it was.
Born in Manhattan and raised in the diverse borough of Queens, O'Connor was an unlikely vessel for the bigot America came to love. He was a thoughtful, well-read man who gave Archie a soul, making his flawed logic feel less like hatred and more like fear. He won 4 Emmys for the part, but his greatest achievement was making a difficult man understandable. After the show, he continued to work, even winning a 5th Emmy for In the Heat of the Night. But his life was marked by a profound and public sorrow. In 1995, his son, Hugh's life ended tragically after a long struggle with addiction. The loss transformed O'Connor into a fierce advocate for awareness, a father channeling his grief into a public crusade. On June 21, 2001, at age 76, O'Connor's own heart, strained by diabetes, finally gave out. He left behind a complicated legacy, a character for the ages, and the quiet truth that even the loudest voices can be shaped by the deepest pain. Her voice was unmistakable, a warm, husky sound that could cut through any argument with a single, well-placed wheezy. Before she was Louise Jefferson, Isabel Sanford was a veteran of the stage, a member of the American Negro Theater in Harlem who had spent 30 years honing her craft. She arrived in Hollywood not as a newcomer, but as a master of her art, ready for her moment. That moment came in 1971, on All in the Family. As the sharp, patient neighbor to the Bunkers, she was more than a match for Archie's bluster. Her character was so beloved that she and her on-screen husband moved on up to their own iconic spin-off, The Jeffersons. It was there she made history, becoming the first African-American woman to win the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a comedy series. She wasn't just playing a part, she was breaking down a barrier right on our television screens. She passed away from natural causes on July 9, 2004, at the age of 86, leaving a legacy built on talent, perseverance, and that unforgettable, triumphant voice. How do you play a character who is loud, opinionated, and a little bit arrogant, yet make him a national treasure? You do it with the unmatched energy of Sherman Hemsley.
They don't fight because they're scared to fight.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know damn well what it means. If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you...
Don't say it.
Nigga.
He said it.
Before he was George Jefferson, strutting into the Bunker's living room, Hemsley was a post office clerk in Philadelphia by day and an actor by night. He served in the Air Force, then took his discipline to the Broadway stage. It was his role in the musical Pearlie that caught Norman Lear's attention. Hemsley brought a strut and a spark to George Jefferson, a man who had worked his way up and wasn't afraid to let everyone know it. He was the perfect foil for Archie Bunker and the perfect star for the Jeffersons. But his life off-screen had its own complexities. When he died in 2012 at 74 from complications of lung cancer, his burial was delayed for 4 months by a legal dispute over his estate. It was a strange public coda to the life of a man who brought so much private laughter into our homes. He was a true original, a man who moved on up and took us all with him. She was born Jean Murray in Manhattan in 1923, the daughter of an opera singer and a billboard salesman. By the time she was 18, she was already performing in summer stock theater. Broadway came next, Funny Girl, Damn Yankees, Bells Are Ringing, roles she would recreate on film. She was a working actress, a stage veteran who had spent decades perfecting her craft before television ever knew her name. Then, in 1971, at the age of 48, Jean Stapleton became Edith Bunker. She was the heart of a show that could have been cruel but wasn't, because Edith was never a punchline.
That's what's jumped in. You know, the elephant. The elephant is jumped. The elephant is jumped. Edith, the camel. The camel is jumped.
She was the glue holding a fractured family together, the woman who loved her husband despite his ignorance, who loved her daughter despite their differences. Stapleton won 3 Emmys and 2 Golden Globes for the role. But more than that, she made America believe in Edith's quiet dignity. She declined to reprise the character in the spin-off, feeling the role had run its course. and instead continued to work, as Eleanor Roosevelt in a television movie, as a voice in video games in You've Got Mail and Michael. She was inducted into both the American Theater Hall of Fame and the Television Hall of Fame in 2002. On May 31, 2013, at age 90, she died peacefully in her Manhattan apartment. Broadway dimmed its marquee lights for 2 minutes in her honor. She left behind a legacy not of fame, but of grace. He was the friendly face next door, the son who bridged the gap between two stubborn old men. But Mike Evans was more than just Lionel Jefferson. He was a writer, a creator, a mind at work behind the scenes of the very world he helped bring to life on screen. While we knew him as the patient, intelligent son of George and Louise, Evans was simultaneously building another legacy. Along with Eric Monte, he co-created Good Times, another landmark sitcom that gave a voice to a black family in the Chicago projects. He was shaping the landscape of 1970s television from two different angles. He even walked away from The Jeffersons after its first season to focus on his writing. A surprising move for an actor on a hit show. He would return to the role in later years, a familiar face coming home. His own story ended too soon. On December 14, 2006, Mike Evans died of throat cancer. He was only 57. He gave us a character we loved, and then he gave us a whole new world to watch. A quiet force. His legacy is written not just in the credits of one show, but in the fabric of two. They made us laugh, they made us think, and sometimes they made us uncomfortable. All in the Family was never just a sitcom, it was a mirror to society, and the cast behind it brought that reflection to life. As time moves on, we remember those who once sat around the bunker living room, who challenged our views, warmed our hearts, and became part of television history. Which character do you miss the most, and what episode still sticks with you today? Let us know in the comments, and if you felt the nostalgia, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for watching.